for a lot of people in Investors Thrive Nation, they're not from Utah, right? And I feel like in Utah and Idaho, like everyone understands what door-to-door sales is, right?
Yeah.
So can you kind of explain to Investors Thrive Nation, like what is door-to-door sales and like if for someone that has no idea what it is?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, most people probably have the impression that door-to-door sales is way below where they want to be as a professional, right? However, just this year, we had, a guy make $1.1 million. He said he's worked less than he's ever worked in his life. We've had a lot of individuals make over 500, and there's a tremendous opportunity. But the most important thing there is we focus on selling a professional product.
Yo, what's going on, everybody?
What's up, guys?
Good to have you on here, Phil Stockton. What's
Yeah.
going on, brother?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on, man.
Of
Thanks
course.
for coming.
So, welcome, Investor Thrive Nation. We got Phil Stockton. I used to work for Phil Stockton while I was in college and for a little bit after, doing door-to-door. My man is crushing it over there at Caliber Solar now. And but if you're new to Investor Thrive, Court, do you want to kind of give an intro to what Investor Thrive is so people that are tuning in know what it is?
Yeah, for sure. So we set out to help entrepreneurs, investors, just people who want to learn about entrepreneurship, improve their skills and, get ideas on how to improve their personal lives, that kind of stuff.
Sweet. So we brought on our boy Phil Stockton because my man he's the epitome of an entrepreneur. He knows what he's doing, right?
Yeah, I've got a couple businesses I've started.
I love it. And he's a hard worker. I mean, he's a sales expert, and he's taught me a ton on how to sell better, how to work with people. So love to have him on here. And, we're just going to dive right in. Do you want to kind of tell us a little intro about yourself, let people know who you are?
Yeah, so I'm one of the owners, not a large percentage owner of Caliber, but,
You got it. You got ownership.
I got some. Right, I got a sliver, and I built a business for 8 years, and I sold it to them, and I took on a position as a vice president of sales there, and so I run one of the largest sales divisions in Caliber Solar.
Wow,
and it's going really well. The reason why I got into door-to-door sales is because I was shown an opportunity to make enough money in 3.5 month college break to pay for everything that I had to pay for in an entire year.
Yeah.
And instead of working to make $15 an hour, whatever, I could control that by how good of a salesperson I was.
For sure.
I got recruited when I was 23 years old. And that was 2003, and I knocked my first summer in Salt Lake City selling Dish Network.
Let's go.
Did that for 5-6 years, which tells you that I'm a terrible student. I spent way too long in college, and then because I didn't really focus on the academic side, I shifted more towards the entrepreneurial side and the sales side.
Yeah.
I ended up starting my own business and built that up for 8 years.
So I haven't asked you this before. Maybe we could go a little bit. So before you got into door-to-door sales, what did you do for work? Did you have sales experience by any means before 23, or was that like a completely new thing for you at that time?
Yeah, sales was brand new, but I knew my personality was wired for it. And when I found it, I mean, it was immediate that it was like, this is what I want to do.
At the time, were you being recruited by other pest control,
No,
other door-to-door?
no. Back then, I mean, this summer will be my 22nd consecutive door-to-door year.
Nice. So since then, you haven't looked back.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've never filled out an application for a job. I have never cared to fill out an application. I've literally never looked back since finding sales, which, is the lifeblood of every business.
So for a lot of people in Investors Thrive Nation, they're not from Utah, right? And I feel like in Utah and Idaho, like everyone understands what door-to-door sales is, right?
Yeah.
So can you kind of explain to Investors Thrive Nation like what is door-to-door sales and like, you know, if for someone that has no idea what it is?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, most people probably have the impression that door-to-door sales is way below where they want to be as a professional, right? However, just this year, we had, a guy make $1.1 million, and, like he said, he's worked less than he's ever worked in his life. We've had a lot of individuals make over 500.
So let me ask you,
and there's a tremendous opportunity, but the most important thing there is we focus on selling a professional product, right? Products and services.
Not meat.
And
Not vacuums.
there are a lot of other products out there that you can sell door to door. You can pretty much sell anything door to door. But our company is a professional training platform for college students at first, and then we feel like it's a launch pad for everything else they're going to do in their career. Once you learn how to communicate effectively and sell yourself, that translates to getting what you want for the rest of your life.
I'd be interested to see how many. So you say like college career, right? That's where you get, I guess, most of the people that knock door to door. I would be interested to see the ratio of how many people after they graduate stay in door to door, like continue to knock. Do you know that? Like how many people, that are just.
Let's just throw an arbitrary number out. I'd probably say 50%.
Wow.
But I'd probably say, at least 75% of those stay in sales.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And then, quite a few of my friends have gone on to do other professions. Like, in my very first summer, one of my friends is a president of a commercial bank down in Dallas, Texas. Another one of my closest friends from that first summer went on to law school after spending about 6 years in door-to-door, managing teams and everything else. And he went to Texas Tech University, graduate with a law degree, and he owns his own law practice in Dallas, Texas.
So it sounds like if you do door-to-door, you become a baller.
I agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
For the most part.
So quick question about the dude that made $1.1 million in a year. Was this strictly off of his own sales, or does he have some people under him and he's getting overrides?
Yeah, he's one of our regional managers.
Right. So that has to do with overrides too.
But for anyone who's a regional or below, right? To be able to earn those kinds of numbers is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think. Would you say in order to get to that level of earnings, you definitely need to build a team out though?
Not necessarily. You just have to be really good at what you do. But at Caliber Solar, there's opportunities for a lot of different things. But I mean, if you just sold on your own personal accounts, the earnings, you could reach $1 million.
What's interesting is I think if you're super good at sales, people will probably just gravitate towards you, and you would probably just make a team or a region anyway. Like if you're a monster salesman, people are going to want to work with you.
Yeah, what I tell people is the first thing you have to do, right, is learn a specific skill. The reason why people go to college is to learn a skill. And once you perfect a skill and you're good at it, then that creates a lever to be able to teach others how to learn that skill.
Right.
And once you teach that skill, you can develop a team and a network, and you continue to train, manage, and oversee their success, and then they continue to leverage those skills to teach others, and you can build a network, right? So it really is your ability to learn, lead, build, and then manage.
Yeah,
I got a question.
That's interesting.
So you feel like Caliber is a platform for young people to come learn those skills?
100%, yeah.
So you almost position yourselves as like a alternative to education, or do it instead of, or
I
do it
wouldn't
along
trade
with,
my
or-
college education. Corey, I definitely wouldn't trade my 6 years of college with like.
What were you, a doctor?
Um,
Did you go to school?
you can, you can call me Dr.
Sales
Phil.
doctor.
Doctor.
Just call me Dr. Philly.
I love
all right?
it.
But in having a season pass at the Canyons Resort without fail every year and just enjoying every minute of it, and then taking breaks where I'd go on cool surf trips, I wouldn't trade college. All right?
Yeah,
It
man.
was fun.
Dude,
and
it is a good
I
time.
did learn a lot, but I wouldn't have been recruited if I didn't at least step foot on campus.
That's where a lot of recruiting
All right.
happened. I don't know. Is that
where it
still?
all happens, right?
That's where we're recruiting from. So, if you don't pride yourself on what you're learning, and most marketing degrees and most business degrees, in my personal opinion, are completely worthless. Right?
Yeah, that's what I got.
So you got a marketing
was-
degree. I got
it
a
was
business
worthless.
management. What would you call it? Entrepreneurship degree.
I don't even have a degree, okay? But I have like 120 credit hours of worthlessness. So
But you liked college.
I'm an
'cause-
Sounds like
I'm an
120
advocate.
credits of fun.
Absolutely. But I am a huge advocate of self-improvement.
Mhm.
But even like Elon Musk's, like, you can basically teach yourself and learn everything. My older brother, he taught himself, how to do HTML, Java, C++, everything. Like, he learned how to code on his own. By the time he got to college, he had already known all that.
He was coding circles around his teacher.
He truly was. So you can learn whatever you want if you want to.
If you want to, right?
So
if
your
you wanna go
advice
find
for
it.
Investors Thrive Nation is go to college so you can have fun and get recruited to do door to door.
I mean, you don't want to miss that experience.
Awesome, man.
But it's essential. One of my favorite quotes is, once you learn certain skills, or you go to school to learn certain skills, the world is going to pay you whatever those skills are worth.
It's true.
In sales and entrepreneurship, those skills are a true lever to be able to, create whatever wealth you want, because, the sky's the limit.
That's so interesting, man. I mean, you're right. Like, for us, for wholesaling, like we just did a $86,000 deal that closed today, or we got funded today.
Congrats.
Yeah, awesome, right?
That's big.
It is big. It's our biggest wholesale deal yet. It's our biggest deal. It was a wholesale deal. But the thing is, like, we solved a giant problem. There was a lien on a solar lien, solar on the property. The lady that inherited the property, her mom died, and the solar company was not communicating with her, and she needed the money ASAP. So instead of selling it the normal way and listing it, she had the lien. She sold to us. We bought it with the lien. We figured out how to get rid of it. We made the difference, but we solved that problem. So that you could say that's a big problem, right? She needed the money and didn't know how to solve it. We solved it. And got paid for what? I guess, what were you saying? You get paid for how much you provide to the market?
Yeah. So, I mean, and your skill in be able to solve those problems, created even more leverage and opportunity to make money.
Right.
Because other people didn't want to deal with that. So that really did come down to skill for you. But
Exactly.
by the way, we don't do any solar accounts with liens.
Good.
So
Good for you, bro.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah,
'cause
we get that a lot.
This
It's
was a disaster trying to
It was a
figure
disaster, man, because the lady
that's going
died.
through the wrong company.
Yeah.
But the way we have it structured, there's a way to do it with it and without it. So
Yeah, it was a disaster because the lady had died, and then her daughter
Yeah, and the solar
inherited
company
it,
wouldn't
and
talk
the
to
solar
us.
company
Yep.
wouldn't talk to us, wouldn't talk to
Yeah.
anyone. They're like, we need you to get
We need a power of attorney.
a power of
from the dead
attorney
person.
from the seller that died, and we're like, she died. She can't give you a power of attorney. That when someone dies, like that's not, you can't get that obviously. And they're like, sorry, we need that. Anyway, that's what we solved.
yeah,
So,
let's get into some golden nuggets for these guys. Let's really
do
dive
it,
into.
man.
I want the listeners to appreciate what we're talking
well,
about here.
I think what the listeners would appreciate is what your story of getting into door to door, which you kind of told us when you were 23, but like your journey. I mean, I think people would love to know, like, you're 22 years into this.
Yeah. So
let's
here's
hear some of like the highs and the lows.
Well, I want to dive into something that I think is extremely valuable in
Go ahead,
the
man.
door-to-door aspect. Okay, so
Give
every
us the
time
nug.
every time you talk to somebody new, you learn something,
Mm-hmm.
or you should. That should be your mindset. That should be your attitude. So, somebody asked me today, like, do you still knock doors?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm not below it. I'm not above it. Like, I will knock if I'm asked, because my mindset is I have an opportunity to be able to go talk to individuals and learn whatever, and in that process, we get paid a lot of money to be able to solve a problem for them, like the electric problem,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And
Or it
so,
was the dish problem, right? The high
Yeah.
TV bill.
yeah, except this pays 25x.
Yeah.
Compared to that.
It's a bigger problem.
Much
Or bigger
yeah, and it's just a
product.
much
Bigger value.
much there's way more value, but the key is in the mindset that you have towards what you're doing. Okay. So in my experience in 22 years, with as much interaction as I've had with other people, some smarter than others, right?
Yeah.
Like, I try to surround myself with the best individuals I possibly can, but I don't shy away from talking to as many people. And when you're knocking residential neighborhoods, you have an opportunity to talk to 50, 100 different people a day. Engage. You have so many different types of responses, and the brain needs that to grow.
Yeah.
Right. To develop communication and really an understanding of kind of the psychology. So naturally, I've wired myself to be able to communicate effectively with
any
so many
type of
different
person.
type of
Yeah.
person.
So let me ask you this. So what I'm hearing from you is when you go out and knock doors or talk to people, go with the mindset to learn from each and every individual person you talk to. Is that what you're saying? Like, go try to learn from people.
That after 4 or 5 years of doing it, like the things that I focused on were, number one, genuinely find out who you're talking to on every door.
Okay.
Right? And then take a genuine interest in making sure that you're making their situation better.
I got a question for you about that.
Okay.
Do you think that's time consuming since there are so many people that aren't interested in the product? Like, for example, when I'm calling people that I'm trying to get a deal, like a wholesale deal, I can immediately tell this isn't someone I can do business with. But, are you saying I should maybe just chat with them and just see, how I can learn from that individual person as well?
You'll never know what opportunities and what doors open up until you've actually established those things, right?
Yeah.
So, and you've knocked a lot of doors.
Mm-hmm.
You've been in houses. They've told you no. You've taken half a dozen no's.
Yep.
And yet you start talking about something that has nothing to do with that. You personalize with them, and before you walk out the door, you've got a contract in hand.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
The reason why is because people are telling you no for all the wrong reasons. And once you've established commonality and they genuinely feel that you have their best interest in mind, then those opportunities
That's interesting.
won't even exist.
Do you feel like it's easier to develop that commonality and the genuine interest person to person, like face to face, or do you think it can be done over the phone just as easy?
Yeah, because there's the emotion, there's the human connection. So door to door is amazing for that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in customers' homes where they want nothing to do with anyone, over the phone or whatever the case is, and you're there, and you can read them, you can really feel what they're feeling, and then be able to handle the situation
It's
differently.
very interesting because me and Corey have found out that when we do nationwide wholesaling, right? So we get deals over the phone, right? But with the ones where we go in person here in Utah, the deal spreads are much bigger. We're able to get better deals.
Mm-hmm.
And a better closing ratio.
And better
Yeah.
closing ratio.
Now, real estate's amazing because if you have that relationship, and with solar, if you have that personal relationship and they trust you, you know, referrals, right, mean a lot more.
Yeah.
And, you know, there are people that do amazingly well off of referrals in real estate. So
Probably in solar too, huh?
yeah, solar is big.
Something that just came to my mind. I want to ask you because
There's a lot of bad
ahead.
bad representatives in every business. You know, and the more money that's available in each business, the more snakes or sharks you find in that space.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to ask you, because I know you probably see this all the time, is just an example. When I was selling and we introduced Sprint to, like at the time, we were doing Dish and Sprint. So I remember I walked into a seller's house. They were a little apprehensive, but I finally, you know, we talked to them, got them Dish. Right after they signed with Dish and everything was ready to go, I said, hey, what about your cell phone? And then I got them like that. It wasn't even, it was easy, cake, because they trusted me. You established the trust and everything you're talking about. How much does that happen with you guys with right now with solar? I know you have other products. Or do you have sales guys that get one thing done, one product, and then they're just freaking just lining up the rest? Does that happen a lot where they sell a lot of other products?
So we've gone from all products to, I mean, we had pest control. We had guys doing that, specializing in that. And then we had our Dish, Sprint, kind of our home services, ADT type stuff. And we shut 100% of that down.
Really?
We're 100% solar. There are some small groups in our company that still do some of the old traditional products, but for the most part, Caliber is 100% solar.
Everyone new is doing solar.
Yeah, we've transitioned everything.
So
and
why
to
would you
answer
shut-
your
yeah,
question,
Yeah.
we feel like the most important thing that we can teach is how to build, you know, that connection, that relationship, and create that value. Because solar is playing the long game. All right, it's going into the neighborhoods over and over and over and making good impressions. And as the glass starts to pop up on all these roofs, you become way more valuable to them, right? And if you've done a good job building that relationship and saying hello every time you go into that neighborhood,
Give them that smile.
and give him, you gotta give him the smile, man. But that's really what sets you apart.
So you've let go of the other ones because it's better to focus on the big kahuna, the biggest product, than just to have everybody distracted.
Jack of all trades, master of none, right?
Got it.
I'd rather be a master of one.
Yeah, it'd be hard to sell all those different products.
Yep.
I feel
Or
like,
to know
you know,
which
if
But
you,
we did
pitch
it.
or-
We did it well.
you know, and I
But
did it well
we shouldn't
too.
have been doing it.
Well-
We should have focused on being amazing at one, and that's what it used to be, Corey, with
Yeah.
Dish. But, you know, the TV industry has changed with all the streaming services. So, you know, this is
I think
is what
that's
we-
great advice that you just gave to Investor Dive Nation, because even with me, I'm like, well, you know, you have the relationship, you could sling everything, but that you're all over the place, right? Jack of all trades, and you're saying, nah, you were doing that in Caliber, and you shut that down real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, in doing what I've done for as long as I have, it was very hard to be motivated doing what I've done for so long. And so kind of diving into what I'm like most excited about is number one, like laser focusing on building out Caliber Solar. That's
Laser
priority
focus.
number one. And we have gone from having a lot of the owners and big money makers in Caliber starting up side businesses and having their other entrepreneurial like ventures going on,
Right.
to universally saying that these side businesses need to basically get shut down and be put on the back burner.
Wow.
So that we can go 2 feet in, 100% focus on
crush
building
it, yeah.
Caliber Solar. Now, because of that, right, it's going to allow us to be the best at what we do, right? And two, it allows us to shift our mindset from feeling like we have to build all these other outside like side businesses to get ahead, right? Like really far ahead, and
Even real estate, right?
and
Like,
and dilute everything. And we want to focus on even the real estate stuff is like all passive investing to where you leverage your money, not your time,
yeah.
because
Because you're going to get property managers. You're not trying to do it
Exactly.
yourself. That's awesome, man. So you guys have all sat down, and I'm assuming multiple meetings with the leadership and been like, hey, everyone's got their side hustle. I don't care if it makes you a lot of money. If we're
this
trying
is the best use of my time.
What prompted that
Well-
decision from it? Because I'm sure, like a lot of successful owners, probably, I'm sure.
Learn the hard
like,
way, Corey.
I'm sure they had good side hustles, right?
Yeah.
What do you
Like,
mean
Why
by
did
that?
why did they decide to shut those down and dive 2 feet in?
If you're not 2 feet in, right?
You're
If
2 feet out.
Yeah. If you're only 1 foot in, you might as well be 2 feet out, right? It's kind of how the expression goes. So, what we found is, a lot of these guys we're not like 2 feet in and not 100% committed to creating the value needed for all the guys who work for them, right? And this is a people-based business, and all the guys need to see that everyone, even at the very top, is there to
Dang, dude.
create the
All in.
value.
That's pretty amazing. That must have some power to it, brother.
It is.
That's some power. I bet if I went over there to Caliber, I'd feel that power.
I think you'd feel it.
Let me tell you something, dude. When we first started, me and Corey were getting into wholesaling. We were selling Sprint door to door still. We were doing it here in Salt Lake, and we had 3 guys, and we would send them to go out and sell Sprint, and then we would stay back and work on our wholesaling business. And these guys were like, man, why are these guys? We're gonna go knock doors, and these guys are doing real estate. Like, they felt that we weren't bought in as much as like they probably needed the leaders to be to succeed. So I'm sure they see the leaders there side hustling or doing
Yeah.
whatever, and they're like, dude, I'm freaking grinding. These guys don't even.
I'm out here knocking, and these
Hey,
guys are
the guys
working
that
on a car wash.
Yeah, exactly. The guys I just recruited over from another company, like they flat out said, the guys above me make more money than I do, and I'm doing 99% of the work.
And you said, look, I'm bought in on this, and then they said they bought in on you.
Well, the mindset is, in what we do, we have an abundance mindset. And the reason why is because there's an abundance, right?
Oh,
there
good.
is a lot.
look at all
okay?
those roofs that need that solar glass on there, brother.
I'm looking at a few right now. But no, but that is the difference. If you
Gotcha.
have an abundance mindset and there truly is an abundance of opportunity in what you're doing,
Oh, it's unreal.
then like you can make sure everybody's taken care of, but you change the paradigm shift goes from this scarcity mindset and my managers are getting paid everything for not doing anything to going to a company where you have everybody with an abundance mindset, loving what they're doing, 2 feet in, 100% invested in the success process, and then, everybody makes more.
I'll be honest with our wholesaling business. I think maybe throughout the years, since you go through dips when you're starting a business, we might not have been as bought in as we needed to be, and maybe our employees have felt that, right? But I think we're all in, been all in for a while now. But I think what you're saying rings true for probably every business owner. If your employees see that you're not really as in as you need to be, they're probably not going to be that in either.
Well, let's talk about entrepreneurship for a second, okay? All right, if you have a business, quote unquote business,
Quote unquote.
and it is dependent on you, you don't have a business,
Yeah,
right?
you got a job.
If you got a job, you got a job.
Would you say you have a job still, or you got a business?
Tough job too.
I have a job,
We got a job too.
okay? And that's not the worst thing, okay? But you have to understand what you're building it into. Now, I could walk away, and I could have a passive income built. And I've invested a lot of money into real estate ventures
Bitcoin too, right?
that are passive. Crypto. I'm a crypto hundredaire. I've lost 100,000 in crypto, dude. So
It'll be back, bro. It'll be back.
but yeah, it's okay to have a business that depends on you, but you need to understand, what the big picture is. You don't want to work for that business for the rest of your life. A friend of mine who graduated with an accounting degree, who owned his own accounting firm with a business partner, just sold, and he didn't sell for retirement money. He sold just to get out of it. He spent 15 years as an accountant, CPA, doing other business people stuff, and come to realize he wanted nothing to do with it because that he was tied to it. There was no end in sight, right? He would have had to work for his own business for the rest of the time.
He wasn't down.
He was not down.
What's he doing instead? Is he coming to solar?
He doesn't even know yet.
Bro, let's get him on solar.
Get him in solar,
I
bro.
don't. He's not that type, but he's got a lot of really amazing skills. So I'm sure he'll come up with something. But I guarantee you, the next decision will be something that doesn't require that he's married to his business.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what?
Well, that's kind of why we started doing wholesaling, is because we had and it can be something that like you build the right way and you don't have to spend as much time in it.
Yeah, it's like if we can eventually get a COO involved, which isn't you, then it's pretty passive. Like if they run the whole thing. Now, what was I gonna say? Shoot, I lost my train of thought.
Well,
I got another question.
Yeah.
So it seems like there's a lot of hype around solar. Do you guys feel like you made the transition in time? Do you feel like you were late, early?
Corey,
What do you guys think?
you ask good questions.
That's a great question.
That's really good. I see solar, being good for a long, long time.
Yeah.
If you asked me 22 years ago how long Dish would last, I would have told you 5 years.
Yeah,
It lasted 22. Okay? It's still good. A lot of people are still using it. But solar, all right, will still be good, but there are going to be regulations. What they're saying, though, with solar is in the last 10 years, there's been 5 million people who've gotten solar or something. We haven't even really broke the surface. Yeah, we barely scratched the surface. And there's markets.
Like still early.
There's markets that are just opening up, okay, across the U.S. And there's really only 4 or 5 states that have been, heavily penetrated with
Sales reps.
with the saturation of the amount of accounts putting solar electricity onto the power grid, right? To where there's too much. Like if you go to Hawaii, there's too much electricity being generated
It's about to blow
from
up.
solar to where the electric companies
Can't handle it.
are saying we have too much and we're not going to pay any new customers who sign up with solar the buyback, right? Net metering is a concept. If you're not familiar with that, net metering is being able to sell your electricity from solar back to the power company. And they are reversing, right? It's a digital meter. It reverses as you're putting energy back, and it winds forward, and they're charging you as you're using it at night, the power from the electric provider. So, yeah, I know that it's going to be good for a long time.
Yeah,
Sweet.
seems like it.
Well, Phil, you've crushed it, man. You've given some great gold nuggets for us. How do you feel like you've done?
I mean,
Phil can go on for hours.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
Great
There's a
ideas.
lot of stuff, man. So if you guys want to have me back, you guys can have me back. But if there's anybody that has questions.
Yeah. Hey, Hector, do you want to see if anybody's got any questions? Nobody on there? I love
No
it.
questions, guys.
Well, hey, as we grow in Investor Thrive Nation, we'll have you back, and I'm sure there'll be questions.
Boom.
But hey, do you have it?
Any last thoughts that you got for us? any final words or advice for investors?
I mean, we never really talked too much about like real estate, but
Oh, it's okay, man. This is more of like an entrepreneurial, how you get started and how you keep grinding more than anything.
yeah, and I mean, it's just fun to be able to talk to you guys. Honestly, it's
For
good
sure,
times.
man.
Fun. It's good to learn.
So I wanted to ask you one last thing, and it was, you know, I think you're biased, but what would you recommend for a brand new guy who's 20 years old? Would you tell him to get into wholesaling and real estate investing, or would you say go knock some doors? What would your opinion be?
That's a great question. I think you could be successful on either one, as long as the leadership and the training structure is there. If you're around really good people, then you'll do well.
So the interesting about wholesaling for new people is they kind of just try to learn it. They try to figure it out themselves. I think in door to door, there's not a lot of structure. In door to door, most people aren't just going to just start knocking a door and trying to slang solar. They have to be under an umbrella or understand how to provide it. So, yeah, there's not too much structure for people in wholesaling. I think a lot of people see that there's tons of money and then like, I'm going to figure it out. And that's probably why a lot of people fail. It's just they don't have that structure.
Yeah, it requires, to be successful at anything, it does require to have a lot of discipline, right?
Yeah.
Knocking doors requires that you have a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
And if you don't personally have it, then you need to be around somebody who does.
That's good. So I guess for wholesalers, if they want to get into wholesaling or door to door, you should find that structure.
You got
either way.
I have mentors, and I'm 44.
You got mentors, bro?
I got mentors.
You're my mentor, dude. You helped me out.
Thanks, man.
Let's go.
I thought you were mine, but yeah, but
continuous education, bro. I mean, like a lot of people think after college they might be done, but I mean, you got mentors.
Just barely getting started after college.
I mean, you probably spent quite a bit of money on mentors too. I mean, they're not cheap, right?
Yeah. So right now we're paying an organization called Knockstars, and they're like Danny Pesci and Taylor McCarthy. Like these guys have been doing solar for a long time, and they're actually doing some training for a lot of our guys.
Tell me how much that costs. I'm just curious, if you don't mind.
I don't know. It's about $5,000 a person for a 4-week course.
A person, is that per?
So it's per rep.
Per rep?
Yeah, per person.
How many reps you got?
$5,000 for a month, and they guarantee that you'll do at least one more solar account than you would have otherwise. Which
so what's that total, bro? I want to.
Are you holding them to that?
How much is that?
I don't care whether we do or we don't. Like I just know what they bring, and
so what is that? How many reps you got?
It's good to have.
Do the math.
It's good to have really solid mentors, right? So what's up?
What's the math on that? How much your company showing out for training and mentoring? 5 per rep. How many reps you got?
I mean, we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in training
for your reps.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's crazy.
If you with all in just
per year, because a lot of people when they hear we have coaching too, and I paid for coaching like $15K a year, $10K a year, whatever, and people are like, oh, that's so much money, and yes, it is, but I mean, it seems like any industry you go in, someone's paying for training, or mentoring.
The thing is, the value has to be there. Mm-hmm. I went to a Tony Robbins seminar, and it was 3 days of just kumbaya, pump up sesh. And then afterwards, I mean, you're on cloud 9. And guys, at the end of that, they're like, sign me up, sign me up, sign me up. But, I don't know anybody who really got that much, out of,
much practical.
Yeah, but if you actually have a legit mentor who's doing phone calls with you every week and really working with you, and nothing against the Tony Robbins organization, they do an amazing job, right? Helping a lot of people, but I think you'll get way further ahead having a mentor and paying for the right support than you would otherwise. I would have rather put my money into that.
How much was that?
A
if you don't
college
mind
education.
Me asking? How much was the Tony Robbins event? How much? Did that cost?
I don't know. It's probably $1,000 to $2,000 for a 3-day thing. There's a door-to-door con that costs about I don't know, $1,500 for about 3 days.
Let me say something really quick. Do you feel like a mentor that's going to take calls, you can ask questions, and will give you their time over a 3-6 month year period? You're saying that's better than a 3-day event where everyone's kumbaya.
Way better.
Yeah, I agree. We've been to events where we pay a lot for like a 2 or 3 day.
It does get you hyped.
You get hyped, you get overwhelmed, and you're at the end, you're drinking from a fire hose. And you're like, I don't even remember what they said after about 2 months, but I remember I was stoked. So that's one thing I would tell Investor Drive Nation is if you're brand new, I would avoid 2-day, 3-day events, and then you're done talking to the mentor because you ain't gonna remember anything.
Yeah. So, and thinking about that, right? In order to make permanent change and to rewire your mind, you have to consistently do something over and over and over again. So a 3-day thing isn't going to do anything for your for the rewiring of your mind. Okay, just the neoplasticity of the brain. You have to do something over and over and over again to change it.
Got it.
But
it's very interesting.
There's a book that I'm reading right now. It's called The Happiness Advantage.
Okay.
You ever heard of that?
I have, yeah.
Have you read it?
I haven't. I'm not a big reader, but I need to be.
Heard of it, haven't read it.
Sean Aker, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Happiness Advantage. Highly recommend it. If you really want to understand the science behind the mindset and the positive brain, it
takes action, huh?
And the effects of what it takes to have the positive mindset, positive brain. I mean, it's
a great book.
It's the best.
Would you say you got that positive mindset, positive brain?
I'm working on it,
dude. I feel like I don't want to say I'm unshakable, but through door to door, through what we've gone through, I definitely got shook a lot more back 4 years ago than I do now. I remember the first time I got sued or had to go to court, I was shaking, dude. I was so nervous. Now, I ain't that nervous.
No, and you've always had the right mindset,
dude.
You
have too, brother.
That's just kind of how you're wired, right? So very resilient.
Corey's got a great mindset too. He helps because I do have more ups and downs, but he's like, hey man, don't worry about it.
Yeah. I have ADHD. Okay.
You do?
I was officially diagnosed after 44 years. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me, right? But actually, after reading this book on ADHD, I'm like, damn, I'm glad I've got it. You know what I mean? There's some downsides.
Oh yeah.
But one of the attributes of an ADHD brain is resilience.
Can't be stopped.
We're like a loyal dog, dude. We could get beaten down and we'll still come back wagging,
Well, dude, I'll tell you one thing that has been difficult for me as having ADHD as well is multitasking. In my mind, no matter what I've read or do, I think I'm being more productive by doing a lot of things at once. That's not the case. You gotta laser focus. Like you said on you guys in Caliber are laser focusing on solar. I think, oh, well, I got these side businesses, I got all this stuff, I'm doing a lot.
That's what I'm doing
every day.
That's what I call paper millionaires, dude. And how many people do you know that have $10 million ideas?
Mm-hmm.
They're broke.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
I got one damn good business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're smashing.
Last thing I'll say before I'll end, and you guys can say what you want to say is, we found out that we could sell junk at houses that we bought. Because sellers leave their stuff, right? So the house that we just closed on, at $86K, I was more stoked to sell the crap in that house and make $3,000 just because we could do it.
It's the Nate's paying special right here.
So I call it.
This is his thing, huh?
So I called.
He sold me a guitar when he moved from Rexburg.
So what I did is I started a company sort of called Painless Junk Removal.
Okay.
And I basically, it's taking me a couple of my hours of my time, but I reached out to a guy that removes junk, and I've reached out to people and said, hey, I can remove your junk and I'll sell it too, and I'll give you a return. That's ridiculous. I'm gonna make maybe a couple $1,000s in a year doing that, right? But I'm all over the place, and that's just not it's not worth my time.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you've outsourced.
It's not worth it.
Tried, but I still, if I could outsource it more and have Jared talk to the potential clients that want to sell their stuff, then I'd be out of it. But I'm still talking to people trying to negotiate.
Yeah.
But I do that, man. That's that ADHD kicking in, wanting to do everything.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, Paper Millionaire, like, I've had so many good ideas. Like, once you can really sink your teeth into something and you love doing it, you just got to be really, really focused on that. And that's what we're doing with Caliber Solar. And then all the money we make off that, I'm dumping into a couple really cool real estate investments.
That's awesome, man.
I like to buy Airbnbs and multifamily.
Would you say you love solar or love door-to-door, or you just love grinding and working and trying to achieve a goal?
I would definitely say that I love all of what we do.
Okay.
Yeah, including the stuff that, most human beings don't want to do.
What is that?
I mean, just
Grinding?
grinding.
Yep.
Knocking
Knock
doors
doors.
is not fun for most people.
Bro, I had a ball knocking doors. I mean, I would love talking to people. I had some of the best,
Because you're good at it.
I loved it, man. I loved talking to people. And the thing that was difficult with door-to-door where I switched was the traveling, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to go. I wanted to stay in one location. I know
Yeah.
traveling is pretty big in door-to-door.
Yeah. So what you're saying is your wife gave you the nice flex.
Strong-armed him.
Well,
She strong-armed you,
I
dude.
wouldn't
She
say it was
wanted
my wife.
more. She wanted more of Nate.
Yeah, I think, of course, right? I think all women want more of their husbands, right?
Yeah. the
Show me the woman that doesn't.
My wife's love language is quality time. As soon as I give it to her, I see a totally different person.
How much
man.
time is that?
It would be all my time. Her birthday is February 15th, and that's the day after Valentine's. So if you guys have some great ideas for her 40th birthday, you let me know.
So my
Take her
wife's
on a trip.
birthday is coming right after that too.
Yeah?
19th, February 19th.
Nice, dude. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, man. So what I would recommend doing is I go to Zion National Park. If you're big into that, we like national parks. I go to Zion or Moab, maybe get a nice Airbnb, make her some chocolates, and
Handmade?
handmade.
All right. I'll start melting.
Chocolate covered strawberries. But anyway, guys, this has been awesome.
Or
It's
just
been
buy them for $20.
yeah, just buy them at Costco, bro. They got a great pack right there. But anyway,
That's more my style, dude.
yeah, that's my style. I'm about to hit up Costco after this, fill up some gas, and then maybe walk around, see if there's anything good over
The
there.
hot dog.
That's the real goal right there is work part-time at Costco for me. Just because not that I need the money, but just because I like being in the environment of all the deals.
Well, I got to come up with a good idea for this is a big birthday.
Big 4-0.
Yeah.
Zion,
4-0.
are you telling me Zion and chocolate-coated strawberries wouldn't cut it?
I mean, not for my wife. She wants a trip to Paris or something.
Oh, wow. Well, hey, that's not too hard, though. I think they have a nonstop from Salt Lake to Paris that you can just hop on.
Yeah.
Get on that, bro. You can afford that.
Yeah, one of these days, right?
So anyway,
Solar, you can afford it.
I had a good time chatting with you, Phil. I hope we all learned a lot. Investor Thrive Nation. I don't know if we're live anymore. Are we still live?
Questions come in?
Any questions coming? Okay. Hey, Investor Thrive Nation. If you've tuned in live, thanks for coming in, and we will see you next time.
All right, you guys.
Thanks, fellas.
Later.